Hi traders. Hi, Oliver Velez once again coming to you from my home in Wellington, Florida. And let me just start off today's vlog by saying this. I had no intentions of doing a vlog today. In fact, my plan was to do a vlog next week. I just came out with a vlog. But something interesting emerged as a result of vlog number one. First of all, your questions and your comments were so amazing to me. Thank you so very much for the love, the showing of appreciation. You liked the video. Your comments were encouraging and amazing. Thank you so very much. And I strongly encourage that you continue, please. That motivates me, and that's how you reward me for the work I put into these things. Okay, but something really interesting happened. Despite receiving a sea of comments and questions regarding the content of the vlog, one question emerged as being the most frequently asked out of all the questions, and it threw me a little bit. It's interesting. That question was, Oliver, what camera are you shooting on? What camera did you use to shoot your first vlog? Well, I am a techie, and I absolutely love talking about these things. And as I mentioned to you before, this is not going to be a one-dimensional trader's vlog. We're going to talk about technology. We're going to talk about the specific technology that I use in my personal life every single day. So that, whether that be which cameras I use or which software am I using for this type of trading, which computer, which notebook, which smartphone, we're going to delve into it all. So today, I saw an opportunity to answer that question in a unique way that also can bring some trading knowledge and some investing information, valuable investing information to us. So let me start off by telling you that over the past several days working with the production of my first vlog, I have exclusively been working with my GoPros. I have two specific GoPros. I have the Hero 4 Black, which is an absolutely phenomenal GoPro camera. This is my baby. It has been in my life for the past year and a half or so. It has been an integral part of my vlogging, my recording, and especially my recordings on vacation with my family and my children. This is an indispensable part of my camera life, okay? I recently picked up this little baby right here. I do not know what kind of voodoo GoPro has going on over there, but let me just tell you this, the Hero 5 Session, this is my first session by the way. This little tiny compact cube is so power-packed with functionality and features, it's bordering on the miraculous as far as I'm concerned. How they put all of that into this tiny, cute little cube is beyond me. It's beyond me. It's beyond my comprehension. This is not a paid advertisement for GoPro, by the way. I am a huge fan of the cameras. I use them every single day in my life, but I just have to say the truth. This is an amazing camera. Now, my vlog the other day was filmed on my Hero 4 Black. The next one is going to be filmed with the Hero 5 Session. I'm curious to see what you think. Is there a little slight uptick in quality? Is it roughly the same? I suspect that it's likely to be a tiny bit sharper, a little bit better, simply because it's a newer camera. I'm sure the bit rate's a little bit higher than the Hero 4 Black. The difference is not going to be monumental because they're two great sensors, two great cameras. I don't think that the Hero 5 Session is going to give me as wide a view as the Hero 4 Black, but in actuality, when vlogging, you want wide. You want a wide angle. You don't want stupid wide because that would lose a little bit of the intimate connection that is the whole purpose for vlogging. But these two cameras are simply amazing. Now, I will say this, that despite the fact that I have been working almost exclusively with my GoPros over the last several days, they do not quite replace a DSLR. The same way a smartphone's camera cannot and does not replace the functionality and the high quality that a DSLR can put out. It just simply, the gap is closing, but that gap is not totally closed as of yet. And so I am shooting right now on my 70D. I have a Canon 5D Mark III that I shoot on as well. I use the 70D mostly for my vlogging because I can look at the screen and make sure that I am appropriately in the shot, in the frame like I want to be in the frame. And a lot of you ask, Oliver, why are you always wearing sunglasses? And that's because I don't want to look cross-eyed to you, so that I'm really not looking directly at you. I'm looking at the screen to the right of me, even though it appears as though I'm looking directly into your eyes, just to make sure that I am framed appropriately in the shot. I hope the sunglasses do not bother you. But I wanted to use this opportunity to go over something trading and investing related. Now, I'm a huge fan of the GoPro cameras, no question. They will be a part of my life, I think, forever. I'm not quite ready to upgrade my Hero 4 Black to the Hero 5 Black. I just don't think there's enough of an improvement with that camera for me to leave my 4 behind. Maybe the 6 will be, but I'm not ready to do that as of right now. But I will say this, at the end of the day, as amazing as the GoPro cameras are, they're just cameras. I remember when GoPro went public about 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than 5 years ago, they went public at $35 a share. And I actually at that time thought that was a bit pricey for a company that simply produced a camera. When GoPro went from $35 to almost $90 a share, I knew it was very reminiscent of experiences that I've had in the past with the same theme. And it is this theme that I saw as the message that I wanted to communicate through this one question. Oliver, what camera did you use to shoot your first vlog? Now, listen to me carefully. Throughout my trading career, December will mark 30 years, I have seen bubbles develop over many different sectors and over many different items. And I believed that when GoPro, the company, GPRO, went from $35 to $90 in a relatively short period of time, I believed that we were looking at yet another bubble. Why? Because as miraculous as these things are, at the end of the day, it's just a camera. Now, please understand this. In my world, whenever you can apply this general statement, but it's just you're dealing with a bubble. More often than not, if that question applies, well, it's just this. I don't get the hoopla. It's a bubble. And I spend a lot of time making sure that my wealth traders do not get thrown by these occasional bubbles that form over things that are just what they are. Let me take you back in history a little bit with my trading. I started trading in 1986, but around 1990, 1991 is when I started to come into my own. It took me about 4.5 to 5 years of doing it every day to really start hitting my stride. Now, I don't believe it takes that long today, but back then, resources and information was a lot more scarce than it is today, and the trial and error method was all you had. So, at any rate, 1991 or so, I started hitting my stride. At this time, I remember a company called Boston Chicken. Today, Boston Chicken is a shadow of what it used to be, and I believe they call the operations or the places Boston Market. But at this particular time, Boston Chicken, 1992, 1993, Boston Chicken went public and started to trade as if in their stores, in their outlets, in their restaurants, they were serving up the cure for cancer. I could not believe how amazing the stock was, just ripping through prices without any regard for value or sanity. We're talking about a stock that would run up like the internet stocks used to do in the late 1990s and early 2000s. It was phenomenal. Now, this is the early 1990s. And I remember thinking that, my God, this is amazing. Let me go visit a Boston chicken restaurant. And I did. And after experiencing the meal, I really wasn't all that impressed. I mean, my mother can fix some chicken. But it wasn't bad. It just wasn't over the top. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is that as tasty as the chicken may have been, at the end of the day, traders, it was just what? Chicken. It wasn't the cure to cancer. It wasn't a solution for HIV. It wasn't a solution for the world's poverty problems in certain areas or regions throughout planet Earth. No, it was chicken. It had no business becoming a bubble the way it did. And Boston chicken cracked and broke, and never came close to being what it used to be. Another example throughout my life, my trading life, Krispy Kreme donuts. Wow. These things, like GoPros, these things border on the miraculous. What the? Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme donut? I mean, it is probably the tastiest, most delicious donut on the planet. I swear to you. And that stock, KKD, ran up close to $100, $80, $85, something in that price range years ago. And I remember thinking the same thing. This is just like Boston chicken. As tasty as a Krispy Kreme donut is, at the end of the day, traders, it's just a freaking donut. It has no business. The stock, the company, has no business. Its stock has no business rallying and moving as if when you bite into a Krispy Kreme donut, you cure cancer. No. Krispy Kreme donut cracked from that high 70s, low 80s price area, 80, 85 maybe, went to almost zero. It never returned to that lofty price position, and neither should it. GoPros came out at $35, ran up to almost $90, making its founder very ever so briefly a billionaire. Now, I am a huge fan of GoPro, but it is not a $90 stock. But now that GoPro has collapsed and bottomed out around 10, is trading today around $14, I think it's come into its own. I am tremendously impressed with what GoPro has been doing over the last several years. I think its innovations have expanded into areas that I think will in the future benefit the company's bottom line in a very, very big way. They are moving beyond cameras. They're getting into drones. They are expanding in their accessories category. And I think that this multi-year downdraft from the high that they experienced has caused them to restructure and to rethink their strategy and to become more than just a camera. How many cameras do we have out there? How many camera companies do we have out there? We don't really need another one of those, but we need something a little bit more innovative. And I think GoPro has fought, they have bitten, they have battled their way to getting beyond this notion that they could go out of business. And I believe that that is settled, and I'm going to actually be looking for an opportunity to begin accumulating GoPro for my wealth account. Now, what I'd like to do with you right now is go to the chart of GoPro and show you exactly what I'm talking about from a technical point of view. So let's do that right now, and after that, I'll be back to close us out. Hi traders. Now let's take a closer look at the historical stock performance of GoPro. Now as you can see from the monthly chart that we're looking at here in the center of the screen, that GoPro has a relatively short history as a publicly traded company. It's relatively new. It's a baby, in fact. Now, each bar on this chart represents one full month of trading. So the first bar represents its first month of publicly traded life. And as you can see, based on the information, that GoPro went public at approximately $30, in the $30 range. All right, low $28, $30 range. And even in my opinion, that price, that initial IPO price, initial public offering price, was very hefty. But at any rate, it went public with a lot of fanfare in this low $30 area. And as you can see from the chart, it almost went straight up. And several months later, it had this meteoric 1 month rise from about 52 to a high that month of, it's crazy, of 96 and change. So GoPro goes public around $30 and in a few months reaches $100. Now, keep in mind that in my opinion, even the $30 price at that particular point in time was very hefty. I watched in awe as GoPro's valuation just went to a level that was stupefying. Now, GoPro, in my opinion, was not a $100 stock. After all, as I've mentioned before, as miraculous as the camera is, at the end of the day, it's just a camera. I mean, how many camera companies do we have out there who've been in business for a long period of time, and camera companies that produce cameras for the movies and professional photography and videography and things of that nature, who have a whole host of different lines from point and clicks to DSLRs to your very high-end red cameras and things of that nature, and they are not even close to the valuation of a GoPro at $98. So I felt that this was absolute lunacy. And ultimately, my view was borne out by the almost as powerful decline to the downside. And now we're finding that after the collapse, after the decline, GoPro here, and if I can stretch this out a little bit here, you see that GoPro has started to settle. And it went as low as $8 and change. And this is when I started to get really interested in following almost the every week goings on in GoPro, because now at these levels, given the fact that GoPro has survived over the past several years because there were questions regarding its survivability as a company, simply because it's just one camera. They've increased their line of products going into the session. They've made their accessory division more robust. They've streamlined their lines into two simple lines, and they've made collaborations with companies such as Periscope and Meerkat and things of that nature. So I believe that they are going to be a survivor in the space. And I believe that the stock has fallen to a level that truly gives the company a more realistic valuation for what it is and what it can become. Now, just like the move to the upside was a bit overdone I believe the move to the downside is just a tiny bit overdone as well. I, in fact, believe there's a double in the price from here. Now, in truth, GoPro has practically doubled from its low. So if we go to the daily chart here and look at that a little closer on the daily chart, you'll see that we had a low of $8 and change. And from that low back in May of this year, 2016, we've moved up to close to $18, excuse me, close to $18 at the high. So in effect, GoPro has doubled, and it deserves and will likely rest here for a while. But I believe that even from current levels around $15, that GoPro has the potential to double from here. I can see GoPro over time achieving its original IPO price. Now, when that's going to happen is anyone's guess. We certainly see evidence that GoPro has bottomed out. That is very, very clear. The additional downside, in my opinion, is relatively small in nature unless the company trips up in a major, major way. I don't really see them doing that. I think they made more mistakes as a brand new company run by someone who did not know the ins and outs of running a publicly traded company. I think over the last several years, the company and its management team have cut their teeth on the process, and they've become stronger. They've fought the pressure to go out of business and have basically survived. I think they're out of the woods as far as I'm concerned. That is my personal opinion. So this is not a video to tell you what to do. This is a video, excuse me, to give you an insight into my personal thoughts and what I am going to be doing. Now, I've put my wealth traders on alert about GoPro. We have actually started to nibble on GoPro and will continue to do so. I will regard movements to the downside as opportunities once those movements to the downside settle as additional buying opportunities. But I believe that if and when we take out this last peak here of around $17.50 or so, I believe that GoPro is truly headed toward its original IPO price around $30, $31, $33 or so. That would give it the potential to double from current prices. Now, I, in my investment approach, don't really place a great deal of importance on time, whether that takes 18 months, 12 months, 2 years from now really doesn't make that much of a difference to me. I am a patient, wealth-oriented trader. My day trading covers the daily income levels. My wealth trading fills in the gaps with longer-term type plays. So I just wanted to kick off this brief video to give you an insight of how I put things together from an investment point of view, from a wealth point of view. So to summarize, GoPro is something that I've become very, very fascinated with. I love the products. They do not pay me to endorse them, but they are an integral part of my almost everyday life. I believe they border on the miraculous. I believe that the stock got way ahead of itself. And in typical fashion, the market has punished the stock in a way for that overboughtness. But I believe that punishment has gone too far. I believe that over the years, GoPro has become better in a lot of ways, particularly in its management processes. And I believe there's a potential double here. So I personally will be focused on GoPro over the ensuing months and looking for that potential double to materialize. Well, there you have it, traders. My personal take on GoPro, the company, its products, where it's been in terms of its history, where I think it might potentially go in terms of its future. I do not want anyone to construe this as personal advice or investment advice or trading advice for anyone. This is my personal take, my personal analysis. And I just wanted to give you a taste of what I'm thinking about doing with my own personal funds with GoPro, the company. And I also wanted to make you aware of this theme that I spoke about that I have often used in my investment approach, and it has proven to be very valuable to me in my market play. Hopefully that will be the same for you. Now keep in mind that this is somewhat of a surprise vlog. I have vlog number 2 that will be coming out soon. If you found this surprise vlog valuable in any way, please pound that like button for me. Recommend the channel. Make sure you subscribe. I will be coming out with additional Trade the Open Like a Boss videos. I will be coming out with some tech reviews for us to take a look at. And I will be coming out with more Q&As. So stay close. Until next time, Oliver Velez signing off.